live.
Welcome everyone back to Gravity Well Theatre Presents Impossible Landscapes. We've had a bit of a gap and we're making a change. We've got a new player replacing Agent Malachi. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello? Hello.
That new voice you can hear is Charlie. Who are you going to be playing, Charlie?
Hi there, I'm Charlie. Nice to meet you all. My name is Agent Marvel. I am a gallery owner and art dealer today. I have my fingers in many pies in the city, but mostly classical art. Anything old and strange is what tickles my fancy.
Absolutely. So it is early in the morning in New York City on August the 11th, 1995, and Agent Marble, real name James Duke
Palmer. Yes.
James, you're currently in classic NYC yellow cab. You've just had a midweek break with your girlfriend Gloria.
Yes.
Gloria. Yeah. You're heading back. You're going to get dropped off at your gallery, so you want to make sure things are set for the show that you've got tomorrow evening. Today is Friday, and you've got a show tomorrow evening. And it's just past 8, and you're sort of in a bit of a daze as the cab's driving down towards your gallery. You're going down Franklin Street, which is known for being quite like a trendy artist street with a lot of galleries and boutique shops and whatnot. And
I know it well.
Absolutely. As the cab is driving along, you see just in a flash there's a boutique shop with an unusual display in the window, which is a child-sized mannequin dressed in a clown, in a very sort of old depiction of a clown, like a Harlequin style, with little diamond shapes of all manner of colours, and it's like a gold masquerade mask. And it's been positioned in such a way that it seems to be dancing.
Yeah,
and also
charming.
Across the window there seems to be some kind of strange pattern drawn on the window in front of it. Can you make an intelligence check?
Of course.
And the way that you would do that is on your sheet. If you click on statistics,
Yeah.
and I think just click on intelligence, it should say times 5 by default.
Yep. Just click that there. 68, and I need to roll 70, so passed, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so you're passing by this shop, and your eyes are drawn to this clown and the pattern that's drawn on the window, and suddenly a voice next to you says, "Have you seen it?" And you sort of
Whip my head.
you whip your head around, and you're clearly sort of distracted, and Gloria's looking at you quite irate. "Have you seen it, baby? Have you seen my hand mirror?"
Oh, sorry, darling. I've not. Just one moment. And I look back at the window.
"You never listen to me." And she's just rummaging around her handbag.
I do listen. I can always get you a new hand mirror. Just one
I
moment.
think I left it at the hotel. It was expensive.
Yes, I know it was expensive. I bought it for you a month ago. Just one moment, though. Is it still in the window? That I assume I've whipped past it now.
You passed it now. But you think you caught sight of it for just long enough that if you wanted to, you could replicate the symbol.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Gloria, darling, I know that you're all excited about tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I can bring you to the party. I'm sorry.
What do you mean?
Well, there's going to be a lot of people there, and you know how I am.
Baby, I'm great with people.
Yes, you're fantastic with people, Gloria, but I just don't think it's the right scene for you. I don't think you'll have fun. We're quite boring old men.
I see what this is.
What?
You're
What?
ashamed of me.
No, of course I'm not ashamed of you, Gloria. You're wonderful. You're beautiful. You're stunning. You're powerful. But it's just not your scene. You won't have fun.
Ugh. I can't look at you. You're ashamed of me.
I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not. Of course not. But I did need to make some calls. So is it okay if I drop you off around the corner?
So at this point, the cab. Well, yeah, you're just around the corner, and goes, I don't want to be in this car with you anyway.
Oh, Gloria, baby.
Drop me
Don't
off
be
here.
like that.
And the cab stops, and she storms out and like slams the door, and flips you the finger. Storms off.
I deeply sigh, and then I get a phone device and I call my actual girlfriend.
Yeah, you're probably wealthy enough to have a cell phone, and you give her a call, and that will be
Stephanie.
Stephanie, yes. So it rings a couple of times, and then the phone answers. Hello?
Stephanie? Stephanie, hi, I was just
Oh,
calling
hey, James.
because... Hi, I have this gallery thing on tomorrow, I'm sure that you know. I was just
Yeah,
wondering
I
if you were
tried
able to
calling
make-
you about it.
Right.
Oh, actually, no, she didn't, because you got a cell phone.
I could have been screening her calls, I'm not sure.
Oh, probably, yeah. You weren't picking up.
Yeah, just had a lot of business things going on. Just calling to see if you're in town tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be in town.
Yeah, cool. It's just, this gallery thing, and I just think it'd be nice time for me to show how much I appreciate you, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really had some time together, really, in a while.
No, not for some time. I just thought if you're in the area, it'd be nice.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure. I
meet up for a
always
drink.
enjoy your shows.
Yeah, thanks. Well, I'll see you there then, yeah?
Well, I'll see you there. I've got a meeting.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Steph. Bye.
And she hangs up, and by the time this conversation is done, you've arrived outside the Visage Gallery.
Yeah.
What does your gallery look like?
From the outside, it's quite, it fits with the street. It's quite fanciful, but also quite avant-garde, postmodern. There's lots of white and chrome. The visage on the front, the V is an upside-down triangle, and the font is barely legible. Walking in, you get the smell of like coconut in the cleaning products, and there's a lot of just like blank white walls with very historical works of art on it, and loads of plinths just dotted around with like really old vases, etc.
Nice. So you don't get far enough to smell the coconut inside, because as you reach the door, and it'll be closed now because you've been out of town, and I guess you probably only keep it open for shows or like specific. It's like on request. You quite
Yeah,
have
yeah.
don't you?
Yeah.
There's, after your cab's driven away, a guy calls out down the street, stood next to a car, and you see this guy. Image should have appeared on screen.
Yep.
And you recognize him, and your reaction is probably apprehensive, because the last time you saw this guy, he was one of two men that visited you to show you a strange artifact, like a sculpture of some kind of squid, possibly. And you were asked to sort of date it and basically tell what you could about it.
Oh, he's one of those. James's
He's one of
heart
those.
drops through his stomach, but he doesn't let it show.
So
Puts his best poker face on.
you recognize him, but he was, of the two men that visited you last time, the less distinctive, because the other guy that was with him last year was this African-American guy with long dreadlocks who was smoking a cigarette, and there's 5 or 6 others, like cigarette stubs on the ground next to him. Looks like maybe he's been waiting a while. And he calls out, "Mr. Duke Palmer, a moment."
Yeah. You again? Yes, of course. If you put that cigarette out, I could take you to my office.
"No time for that." And he pats the hood of the car. "Get in."
I look around. Is there anybody that I know looking at me?
No.
Okay.
Just, there's not really
I get
many
in the
people
car.
out. It's still early in the morning.
Yeah. In that case, I will get in the car like very warily.
Okay.
Inspect
So-
as I do.
As you get in the car, he is quiet for a few moments as he ignores you and looks around himself. He checks the mirrors and sort of taps his fingers on the dashboard a moment, considering. You picked
What is it
a
then?
bad time to go out of town.
Well, there's always things to do in my business. What is it you need?
I'm
rather
activating
busy.
you.
Now? I've got a show on tomorrow. Can we not wait until Sunday?
This is the kind of thing that doesn't wait for any shows.
Blast. Let me make some calls. But fine. There's not really much I can say about it, is there?
No, not well, not if you know what's good for you.
Hmm.
And he starts pulling out and drives down the street. So for this operation, you've been assigned as Agent Marble. I am Agent Marcus. I'm reading you in an Operation Alice, which you should have already been on if you hadn't disappeared.
Well, needs must, but okay.
Actually, before we start, and he looks at you with kind of a fairly nervous look on his face as he
Eyes on
considers,
the road.
and then he looks back at the road.
What?
This trip you took, can you account for earlier time?
What do you mean? Can I account for my time? Of course.
No gaps that you can't remember?
I think back on my time, the few days that I've spent meeting with rather influential people. Are there any gaps?
Not that you can recall, no. Everything seems, depending on how blitzed you might have got.
Yeah, I mean, there are some minor gaps, but my girlfriend filled me in on what I did very, very clearly, and repeatedly. So no, nothing that is of your
Oh,
concern.
did she? What about strange dreams?
I have strange dreams all the time. You'll have to be a bit more specific.
Anything remarkable?
James looks visibly agitated.
Like sleep paralysis?
Would there have been anything?
No, nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. Just your normal
Okay.
run-of-the-mill trauma dreams.
So, an artist went missing in Kips Bay, and he begins to run you through a very simplistic briefing. Before this recording started, we've gone through a recap, so you got up to speed on some of the details.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tells you about the disappearance of Abigail Wright, and that an occult symbol was found in her apartment, which is why Delta Green are interested, and that her apartment's been turned into a shrine, which is very odd, and that there are already agents assigned to the case. Apparently this operation began 2 days ago.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Sounds wonderful.
meanwhile across town, not too far away actually, in the McAllister building in Kips Bay, Agent McIntosh, you're in the apartment of Thomas Manuel, Abigail Wright's next door neighbour. You've who you sent to jail, effectively. You handed him over to Detective Girodanda yesterday evening after you escaped the night floors. So currently the apartment's empty. And the thing that's striking to you about his apartment is it's like something from an IKEA catalogue. It's more like a hotel room than somewhere someone lives. It's all very, very tidy. There's no books or posters or anything. It's just basic furnishings.
Very
All very
sparse, huh?
clean. And I believe that beep means we've got Unicorn. Hello, Unicorn.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
You good? Unicorn, this is Charlie, a new character, a new player.
Me.
Hi, Unicorn.
We've not got too far in. We've just been introducing Agent Marble, Charlie's new character, and we've just zipped across to where we left off with Macintosh in Thomas Manuel's apartment. So you're Macintosh. Sat listening to each of these tapes that Thomas Manuel has recorded from Abigail's apartment. For the most part, you're just hearing the sounds of New York during like regular days, just the sound of cars outside and the air, the occasional bird. And there's stacks and stacks of tapes, and they seem to go back, you think, at least a good few months. Maybe like 2 or 3 months worth of tapes, based on how long they are.
Okay.
So as you listen back, you're able to sort of press rewind and then like you take it off rewind and play it whenever you hear an interesting noise like a voice or something. And there's a few interesting things that you start hearing. Firstly, you'll hear the conversations that you had in Abigail's room yesterday. Possibly adding cadence to the... not cadence. Because you had the idea that maybe Thomas Manuel had made the transcript of what your conversation was, so that could possibly explain that, because it has been caught on tape. Then, rewinding further, you hear... so this would be yesterday morning. You hear the sound of the door opening and some things... some heavy things being placed down, possibly on the counter, which would be directly in front of the microphone, leading into Abigail's sort of kitchenette area. And then you hear the voice of Detective Girodanda. He says, "Lord have mercy on us all." He sort of mutters to himself, and then the door closes again. Rewinding back further, now going back maybe about a week, so sometime in early August, you hear the sound of several people's voices, sounding quite official. You hear a woman's voice say, "Looks like there's a Walkman on that side there. So take it down and see if you can run the serial number." And then the voices, "This stuff is set like cement. We're going to break this." And then there's like a cracking noise, something breaking. And then the sound of a couple more things being ripped off the wall. And then the woman's voice goes, "Well, we'll run the serials, but I don't want to damage any more of this evidence. Let's cover, see if we missed anything the NYP did, and question the tenants again." And after a little bit more quiet conversation, the door closes again. Then going back through more tapes, there's a large chunk, nearly a month of just silence in the room. And going back to tapes in June, you hear the voice of Detective Giradander again, and a man's voice that you don't recognize, but who you quickly ascertain by the conversation to be Thomas Wright, because he says, yeah, this would be how I found it. I really don't know what most of this stuff even is. This isn't, I mean, if it's an art thing, it's not anything that I recognize that Abby would do. She's a painter. And Giradander saying, so have you any idea why she might have left? She had no reason. She just up and leave. She's got a life here. She's successful. She had a show. She sold loads of her paintings. She's doing really well. And there's back and forth conversation between Thomas Wright and Giradander as he's going through a few details. You'll only catch bits of it when they're close enough to the microphone for you to really make it out. And yeah, eventually Giradander says, "Right, officers, I need you to go and question the other tenants and see what they know." The door closes again. Then going back the same morning, but so earlier in the tape, you hear a knock on the door, and you hear Thomas Wright's voice again, muffled through the door. "Abby, you in there? Abby? Alright, I'm coming in." The door unlocks, and then there's a pregnant pause. "Jesus H. Christ, what is this stuff?" You're hearing him pace around the room for a while, not really knowing what to make of anything. And after a while, you hear the sound of the phone being picked up, and you hear one side of what would have been the report of her going missing. Yeah, I'd like to report a missing person. This is Officer Thomas Wright of Nassau County PD. It's my daughter, Abigail. And he goes through what details he can. It's a short conversation, and then it goes quiet. It doesn't seem to leave the apartment until the police arrive later in the day. Then rewinding back through the last few days of that, occasionally the phone rings. It's not picked up, but that's the only thing of note that you hear. And then going back to the earliest part of the tapes, you think this was probably going to be either late March or maybe the first day or two of June. You hear a young woman's voice, just faintly on the recording. She says, "Song of my soul, my voice is dead, die thou unsung as tears unshed." And then there's another voice. Was that loud enough? Did that play?
I barely heard it.
Mess with the settings in.
It's nearly midnight. You can't be late.
Something you can't be late?
Yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, so it's quite an eerie voice speaks out. "It's nearly midnight. You can't be late." At that point, you hear a horrible squeaking noise and like a crunching, and you see that the tape is like tearing itself apart in that awful sort of 90s way that they used to wreck. And yeah, the spools and spools of tape start coming out. And it's clearly like the tape has been ruined.
Oh, shit. And I try to stop it and get it out, but obviously too late.
Yeah, by the time that you got to it, you stopped the tape player, but the damage has been done. That last tape has been completely ruined.
And I just kind of like do my best to gather it up and put it in a bag or something that maybe we can restore it if needed. And then, since I'm done with the listening to the tapes, I'm gonna go back to Abby's apartment and see what's been found over there.
Okay. So you walk down the corridor back into the Shrine of Abby's apartment. So Agent Mustache, you're still there where we left you last time, with Agent Malachi. If you recall, the last things that you'd found are these two napkins with a diagram for a device that you can't work out what the purpose for is, and also this musical sheet with eerie lyrics on. So Agent Malachi looks to you and passes you the napkins. I don't know how to make heads or tails of this. And Agent Macintosh enters.
Looks like some sort of device of some kind. Oh, what it does.
Yeah.
Ah, Agent Macintosh. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I just finished listening to all those tapes we found. Not much on them, just stuff we would expect when the detective came in, and clearly they were dropping the evidence boxes. When the first officers arrived and they were trying to pull things off the wall and clearly were unsuccessful because of the glue, they stopped after that, obviously. I also heard when Thomas was talking to Detective about this is how he found her apartment when he entered, which I also heard on the video, the tapes. Nothing really out of the ordinary for the most part, but this first tape that the machine decided it was going to eat it, and I hold up the bag showing the spools of the tape just all unwound. I heard a woman, I'm assuming was Abby, reciting something, and then this very eerie, distorted voice saying, "It's nearly midnight, you can't be late."
And what was the timestamp on that?
Given the length of time of the tapes and how many tapes there were, I'm going to assume late March or early June.
Oh, sorry, late May or early June.
Late May.
Just a typo.
Sorry. Late May, early June. That's the best I can determine.
Doesn't help us much now that it's destroyed.
I saved it anyway. I mean, this is not exactly what I work with, but there's some people out there that can work miracles, so if we need it again, maybe we can find somebody that can restore it. Never know.
So as you're deliberating this, there's a knock on the apartment door.
I assume at this point I'm the closest to the door, so I'm going to turn around and open it.
Okay. So you open the door to reveal Agent Marcus, your handler for the operation, and another man. Agent Marble, what do you look like?
So Agent Marble is an athletic-looking older gentleman with bright white hair that swirls over his head in a side parting from the left side. He has quite postmodern glasses and a grey check suit, three-piece, with a white shirt and a grey tie. Oh no, apologies, a purple tie. He's a very handsome man, and he looks rather agitated.
The other thing you're wearing at the moment is a lanyard that reads FBI Advisor, which Agent Marcus has given you in the drive here, and explains to you that your official cover story on this operation is that you are an advisor attached to an FBI task force, charged with recording things found in Abigail Wright's apartment, and you're basically advising from an arts history background because of the nature of the person who's gone missing.
Okay. Cool.
So Agent Marcus, looking as nervous as he has done the past couple of times, looks to you and then looks into the apartment at all the clutter and then gestures for everyone to come out into the hallway. Right. This is Agent Marble. He's going to be joining the operation. You need to brief him on whatever he needs to know, but he's been activated for Operation Alice, and he's one of your team now.
Welcome,
I'll leave you
Agent
to get to know him whilst I speak to Agent Malachi. I need a word of you.
Oh, Agent Marble, nice to meet you. Come on in.
Great meeting you guys. I wish it was under more favourable circumstances.
Agent Malachi looks to Mustache and goes, "Right, I'll be right back." And he heads out with Agent Marcus out of the building.
Brace yourself, Agent Marble. Quite a scene in here.
From the briefing, though short, I had on the way over here, it seems as though there's a whole lot of clutter in this building.
Nah, just this room.
Oh. Well, I'm ready.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Because just wait till it gets dark. This building gets very interesting.
Wouldn't be my first time seeing something a little extraordinary, but guess it's the first time I've been somewhere that's extraordinary. It usually gets brought to me. What is it specifically that's irking us about this one? I guess that, as I walk in and see how absolutely horrifically covered everything is in bits of stuff.
This place is chaos. It's a shrine. There's all manner of things stuck to the wall.
Oh goodness.
Seemingly with some kind of like epoxy resin. It's like full on like cemented onto the wall almost. A lot of things have been taken down, and presumably the agents that have been doing so have been quite tidy with it. So there's some piles on the counter. There's a bunch of Polaroid photos, and in an FBI box. But yeah, lots of documents and strange bits of like medical equipment and devices, and you see all manner of languages and pictures and things covering the walls, every single surface.
This sort of this level of modern art always confused me. Seems a bit more than just art, though.
Definitely.
There's quite a bit of occult significance, and we've found some rather inexplicable things. This, for instance, and show you the United Airlines ticket from the future.
Oh, 2015? How is that possible? I get these flights all the time, and my ticket looks nothing like that.
Yeah, correct. In fact, the United Airlines logo is different.
Even the logo's changed. Well,
Yes.
that must be a knockoff of sorts, right?
I don't know. It looked pretty official to me. We also found this, and I'm gonna pull out the little slip with the symbol for the demon on it. We found this demon
I'm
symbol.
familiar with. Hmm.
Not sure
Marble,
if
do you want to roll an occult check?
Occult?
Yep.
Alrighty. Oh, just over 32.
I'll actually call it a plus 20 for this one as well. So you do recognise it. Or rather, you recognise symbols like it.
Yeah.
You know that there's a famous occult book called the Ars Goetia, where sigils like this appear. There's like 100 or so of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that style where the demon's name is written around the edge.
Would I have seen the Ars Goetia before?
Yeah, probably. You probably don't. You won't really own a copy, but
No.
You're aware of it.
Yeah, this comes from the Ars Goetia, right? I've seen this symbols like it before. That awful book has passed my desk once or twice before.
yes, that's what we've determined as well. It's for a demon called Person, I believe. I'd have to look up my notes,
Person, yeah.
but
Well, it seems to write it around the outside. Those demons, they do love to write things in circular fashions. I've never heard of Person before. It's new to me.
I think Malachi had the book, but maybe would have given it to Macintosh to keep in her bag so we can show it to him.
yes,
yeah,
I was
that's
carrying a lot of the stuff since I had a satchel.
So you
we
have a
hand
copy
you
of
what
the...
it looks to be an original. God knows how old it might be, and kind of pass it to you.
Ooh. My heart sinks as soon as I see the cover of that book, because every time I've seen that book, I've had to look at unspeakable things. So do you see as James's face, or like Agent Marble's face, goes rather white as he looks at it? Oh. Okay.
Well, you probably wouldn't recognise it immediately by the cover.
Okay.
But on opening it, you do see these sigils. And what they're presenting you with here is a handwritten version. It's obviously of the Ars Goetia, but it's all in Latin.
Oh.
And as you're flicking through the pages, and because you can read Latin, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, if you had to guess, you'd say that this is what the Ars Goetia was translated from.
Wow, so it's like an original transcript.
Yeah, it would be priceless, apart from there are ballpoint pen annotations scattered throughout the tome.
Marble just mutters to himself, oh, that's a shame. This would be worth, who knows what, to the right buyer, but these damn annotations. And I point them out to the rest of the group.
Yeah, I never understood people that would write in books. Even a college textbook. I always just stuffed pieces of paper in my books.
Exactly. Totally agree. Why ruin perfect piece of literacy?
And as your
I
skin
roll maybe
gets-
forensics or something to see if compare it to Annabelle's handwriting. What's her name?
Abigail is the
Abigail.
despair girl.
Abigail.
And you've got a signature on the library card, so how high is your forensics?
31.
31? Yeah. You know that it's not Abigail's handwriting. Roll it with a plus 20% as well. You'd also expect that this is a man's handwriting,
Hmm.
and I don't believe you've got any other It doesn't. You don't recognise it from anything else that you found. But these notes are in English, and they're scattered throughout the book. And Marble, as you're looking at them, the annotations don't seem to have anything seemingly to do with the page that they're on or what's being discussed. They say things like, beneath Brodalbin there is a door. Bale and Wild each. Ambrose and the child in the pavilion costumes.
So it's got nothing to do with what's on the page.
Yeah, none of these annotations seem to have anything to do with what's on the page. And this book is page upon page of demons. There are the seals of 72 demons. And
Okay.
It says what their nature is, and the book begins with seemingly like there's many pages on how to summon these demons.
So it's like a dummy's guide to summoning demons, in a way.
Well, the Osgoatia is a dummy's guide to summoning demons. This
Right.
seems much more involved, much more accurate and precise.
Okay. This book seems dangerous, for one. And I don't know who's made these annotations, but they seem deranged. It's got nothing to do with what's on the page, and if anything, it's more of a distraction. But it might be worth taking a note of the handwriting used and see if we can match it with anything that we see in the future.
Yes, indeed.
And I jot down a few, like trace over a few of the ways that the handwriting's been written. Attempt to get as many different letters as I can. Just kind of go over them in my little journal.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you can write down copies of the annotations.
Cool.
While he's doing that, so obviously we're keeping what we feel is the most
Chat for
important
now.
pieces
Is there
of...
anything that I can decipher about this book that? Well, I guess it all seems out of place, but I was thinking if it's in Latin, then maybe something I can glean from it. But
Yeah, giving it a proper read through is going to take a long time.
yeah,
Um,
flicking through,
probably
can
hours,
I see
if not days.
the symbol for person in there at all?
You certainly can. Yes.
Okay.
And
And are there any annotations on this page?
there's no annotations on the page.
Okay.
You can see the description for person as person's a great king of hell, being served and obeyed by 22 legions of demons. He knoweth of hidden things, of lost treasures, and of all things past, present, and future. Occupying either a human or aerial body, he answereth truly of all secret and divine things of earth and the creation of the world. Person's depicted as a man with the face of a lion, carrying a ferocious viper, riding a bear. Before him can be heard trumpets sounding.
I assume that I read to everybody else in the room, and I say I assume that you guys have read that before.
Yes, we did, and it's funny, based on that description, when I found the symbol for person, looking out the window, I saw what appeared to be a homeless man carrying a snake crossing the street, and then suddenly there were loud horns that we all had to cover our ears that were so loud. It was just so oddly coincidental to this description of the demon of person as to what I saw out of the window.
Yeah, there are no coincidences at the end of the day, especially when we're dealing with things like this. Did the when the sound happened, was there any like visual like destruction? Because a sound of that volume would probably blow out windows. It would at least draw attention from others.
No,
Was it just you guys who were affected?
You know, we didn't ask anybody else, but it was definitely all
Right.
three of us, and I mean, it was so loud we all covered our ears. It was
That
just
bad.
that bad.
Well, it makes me think at least it's targeted, and it will likely be because of the symbol. So, I think there's quite a few lines in person's information that we should be taking into account. With the ticket that we have dated 2015, there was a line in there, he's the great king of hell, of past, present, or future. There's definitely some links to time here that worry me.
And saying time and future, I found this up on one of the mysterious floors, and I'm gonna pull the iPad out of my bag, which I'm assuming by this point is completely dead and won't turn on.
What is
So you
this, a
see this-
chopping board?
No, it's some electronic device. When I found it, it was plugged into the wall, and it had an image on it with something called YouTube, and it said there was an error, and there was some text about a song before time or before travel. Oh gosh, I can't remember now.
I'm not going to begin to try and comprehend that, but it was a television?
I guess that's the best way to describe it. I took it with me. I didn't want to leave it there, even though it was hardly charged. Maybe now I can see if we can get it charged. And I'm gonna dig through my bag. Did I take the charger with me? I think I did.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull that out and I'm gonna find a empty outlet and plug it in.
Okay. Plug it in and nothing seems to happen.
Well, maybe it takes a minute, so we'll just leave it here to charge while we look to see what else we can find in here.
Would we be able to say that I have a camera on me? Would I have a camera?
You don't have, because you just picked up just as you left the cab.
Yeah, true.
But you can see that in one of these boxes on the counter there's a Polaroid camera.
A Polaroid, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to pick up the Polaroid. Just say things can be very useful. It can be useful to have a camera around, not only to take photos for evidence, but sometimes looking through something else gives a different perspective. And I'd like to put it in my pocket if I can.
So I'm gonna walk back into. I was originally looking around in the living room, so I'm gonna go back in there and kind of continue to look around in the area I had originally started in.
Are you going to start searching the walls again?
Yeah.
Yes, if you could please roll a search check.
Would I be able to assist her in some way?
Yes, you can.
You want me to roll a search check, or...?
Yes,
Do we
please.
just roll our own search?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Work out how to use the system.
and I failed, I check the box, right?
Yes, that's true. Anytime you fail a check, click on the checkbox next to it. Still increase at the end of the session.
No, big fail from me, 99.
Whoa.
Excellent.
I'm focused on my Polaroid.
Okay. So you all start searching the room again. Firstly, Macintosh, you start sort of logging through the various bits of medical equipment that it's taken there, and the things that you can sort of pry free, you do, and some things you have to leave up there or that are at risk of snapping. But you find a bedpan, the casing of like a plastic hand sanitizer casing that you get on the side of a wall next to a door in a hospital, some kind of medical tubing, a thermometer, and possibly slightly ominously like leather restraints, like similar to the ones that you saw in the night floors holding down the man that was strapped down to the table that lowered down into the ground. And we'll come back to Mustache, but before you find anything, Agent Malachi comes into the room midway through your search. Right guys, Marcus has ordered me on something else, so I need to say my goodbyes and hand you what I've got.
So I walk over to him, and it's been a pleasure working with you. Hope to get to work with you again in the future.
Well, I don't think we should have that hope, given our line of work, but yeah, nice working.
True, very true.
And he shakes your hand, and then he sort of pats Moustache on the shoulder, and he hands you all any evidence that he collected, the seed pod that he took, and any other clues that he might have had on this person.
Good luck to you, Mac.
You too. And Marcus says he wants a word with you as well. And then he nods his head and heads out.
Well, he seemed nice.
Yeah.
One less hands on this, one less set of eyes.
So I'll go outside and find Marcus.
And actually, just before you do, you were in the process of like taking something down and putting it on the counter, and that seemed to have covered up like a crumpled scrap of paper, and you just sort of absently unfurl it before you decide to go outside, and you see this symbol. And can you roll a sanity check? Okay, so you see this symbol that you don't really have the frame of reference for. It's quite angular, like a couple of triangles layered on top of each other in some way on yellowed paper. Where are we? There we are.
You find something?
Couldn't tell you what. Pass it to you.
You pass it to... Do you head out at this point, or do you hang around?
Yeah, I imagine like Marcus calls me over when I hand it to him or something.
Yeah, there's like a toot of his horn outside. Okay, so you head out the room, and then Marble, can you roll a sanity check?
Yeah, I'd love to. I should I just click sanity, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool, pass.
Yeah. So you look at this symbol, and you realise it is the same symbol that you saw this morning in the shop window.
Oh. I know this symbol. I've seen it before, at least. Seems as though I was chosen for this long before Marcus said anything. Drat.
Interesting.
Yeah, I saw this symbol on a child-sized mannequin in an old clown outfit. It was wearing a gold masquerade mask, and it was put in a
Wait.
dancing position.
Child in a clown costume. And I look at him
Precisely.
puzzledly. We saw that in the park. There was a child dressed and dancing in the park.
Did it have a gold masquerade mask on?
And I'm kind of looking around, you like trying to think about it. And
Yeah.
I believe it did. He did.
Well, this pattern was on the window. Would I be able to, like, get a sense of what it was painted with? Was it like a dark red colour? Was it a similar sort of artistry, so to speak, than the one I'm looking at now?
Yeah, you think probably a paintbrush.
Right. Seems to have been brush strokes on both. Yeah, so it turns out that whatever this thing is, it knew I was coming before I did. We're already one step
So meanwhile-
behind.
Agent Mustache, you head outside the building, and you see that Agent Marcus is sat in his car, he's at the wheel of a black sedan, and gestures you over and rolls down the window. Okay, get in a second.
I do so.
Right, couple of things. Firstly, I forgot these, and he passes you 3 cell phones, like chunky 1990s cell phones, with a sticker on the back of each with its number on. Its own number. Use these to contact the rest of the team, and the other 2 out to the others. Since it's turning into a long operation, that's probably going to come in handy for you. And also, I need to ask, why did you get Fred Jones involved in this?
Jones.
Yeah.
Well, we needed some information.
And what information could he provide?
I can't remember what I asked him to do.
You mainly called him up to test if the phones were being tapped, I think, but you'd asked him to
Yeah.
who was in the first game? I can't quite remember. But you asked him to do something off the books, to do with following up on the FBI side of this case.
Oh, were we trying to get him to take, what's his face? For the FBI to take the neighbor into custody?
No, we tried to have
no.
him get some techs to come itemize all of the stuff in the apartment.
Yeah, you wanted help with itemizing.
I don't know if you've been in there, Marcus, but it's a complete cluster. We'll never get through all of it.
I don't care if you get through all of it. Just the logging of things, it's cover, right? But Presumably there's some fucked up shit in there that we don't want people finding. So contacting a superior in the FBI who isn't read on in our organization is not conducive to keeping this under wraps.
Understood.
What do you know about this transfer of Fred Jones's head?
Not much. I know I can trust him, though.
Yeah, you sure?
Damn sure. What are you getting at?
Has he ever mentioned anything... Have you ever heard him mention Project Catalyst?
Think so.
Okay. Anyway, no more discussing the case with him. He's not read in on this.
I haven't told him anything.
Good. Keep it that way. Now, do you need anything?
Yeah, something for my stomach. Get out of the car and slam the door.
And he just drives away. No word told or anything.
I'll light up a cigarette and kind of hang outside for a bit. Maybe just do some general observation of the area, see if anything suspicious stands out. Maybe walk around the building a bit.
Yeah, you walk around the building. The building's either side. There's a laundrette on one side and a VHS shop on the other. But you don't see anything odd. What's going on back in the apartment?
I'm still going around and searching, see if I can find anything else of interest while the device is charging.
I've
Oh,
found
actually-
a seat.
You found a seat.
Yep.
Also, roll another sanity check, Marble.
Ah, gladly. So I've found a seat and I've put my feet up somewhere. I have a copy of the Asgershire,
Yep.
and I'm flicking through it, attempting to find this symbol.
Alright.
But my sanity check is a 58 passed.
Nice, okay. So actually, as you're reading through the book, this book doesn't seem to be called the Osgoatia. It's titled
Oh.
the Hygromantea. But effectively,
Hygromantea.
it seems to be the source text for the Osgoatia.
Got you.
So, you're vaguely familiar with the Osgoatia. This is clearly, it's like a massive, hefty tome, whereas the Osgoatia is like a paperback.
Right.
So there's clearly a lot more detail in here. And you think to fully study it and understand what its deal is would take you weeks, but you can certainly sort of skim through and get an idea of the structure of the book. So you've got a good sort of third of it is taken up with the finer details of summoning, and the rest of the book is the seals and the natures of each of the other demons.
Okay.
As to your sanity check, gotta find a page. There we are. Yeah, you just find it relatively unsettling to be sat here in the middle of all this. But apart from that, you were able to just read on normally. But
This
it's not a
place
very
gives me the
comfortable place.
creeps.
Exactly.
It's a strange place. And a strange symbol.
And I looked
Is
back
there
over
anything I
my
can...
shoulder and
Oh,
I was
go on.
like, you got that right. This whole thing is weird.
Too right. Do I find anything in the book with that symbol? I assume it's in the same sort of spot as I was looking earlier.
You find the person symbol, yeah. And it
Yeah.
is as it is on the brown paper.
Okie dokie. So the things that I've been seeing is the same as what was just passed to me? Or
Yep.
is it... Okay, so that triangle-y thing is also in the book, and it's confirmed
Oh,
as
sorry,
being
sorry.
persons.
No, you can't find the triangle symbol,
Right, okay.
but you do find the sigil of person, the one on the brown paper.
Yeah.
The
Alright. This new symbol isn't in the book. I can't figure out its relationship, but there's definitely some sort of relation to a masked child. That's all I can gather. But I'll make a sketch of the same symbol, just so I don't have to keep looking at that page, just in like pen. Pop it in my diary.
Put it in your diary. Okay.
Yeah, I have a file over there in my satchel that we're keeping the important bits we find. If you want to put it in there.
Good plan. I go and file it away then. And I go back to my perch, just pondering with the book in my lap.
And I'm still walking around just looking over the walls and poking at the things that are glued up there.
And outside Moustache, I can tell you that the nearby shops, it's Destroyer Video and Garrett Laundrette, and there's also a delicatessen called Manny's Delicatessen in the nearby vicinity. And I guess the alleyway where you found the mattress and where you saw the doorway that doesn't exist is between Manny's Delicatessen and a residential building. And by this point, you
Stamp
have
out.
finished a cigarette.
Yeah, stamp it out and go back inside.
You're back in Abigail's apartment. You see Agent Marbles reading the tome. Macintosh is logging medical equipment.
Marcus, say anything strange to you?
No, just gave us these. And I toss him a phone.
Just like my other one.
I'll
Oh.
pull out Girodonda's card and call him on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, there's a few rings, and then you hear the voice of the detective. This is Detective Girodonda. 1234. NYPD.
Good morning, Detective. This is Agent Mustache. I'm just following up with if you found anything about Mr. Manuel's being able to contact his family.
Oh, it's you. Is that really your name?
Of course it is. What kind of question is that?
Well, I don't get into it. Yeah, this Thomas Manuel business. I've got his parents on the line. They're coming to pick him up. He's been quiet all night, like creepily quiet, from what the night shift says.
What did they say when you told them you had found their son?
They were relieved that he was around. They said that they were told that he didn't live in the apartment anymore.
Did you fail to do background checks on everyone that you interviewed here?
No, I did background checks on all the tenants. He wasn't reported
Mr.
missing. And he was at home, so I don't know what you want me to do.
Anyway. Thank you for following up on that for us. Please keep me in the loop if anything should happen.
Well, if you want to speak to his parents, they'll be at the precinct in about an hour or so. But other than that, there's nothing really to report. The kid's been quiet.
Thank you again. I'll hang up.
Was that the tortured artist guy that lived across the road?
It seems his parents were relieved to hear that he has been found, though he was supposedly never reported missing.
Why wouldn't they report him missing if they didn't know where he was?
Find it strange as well. We could go speak to them. They'll be at the precinct in about an hour, though I'm not really sure what they'll be
Yeah.
able to tell us.
It's a fair point. They don't seem related to what we have going on, but it would be nice to ask that question.
Oh, also something that Marble, I forgot to say when you were briefed, but it will probably occur to you now as you're thinking. Since you were told the name Abigail Wright, you thought, oh, that's vaguely familiar. And it occurs to you that you have been to one of her galleries, one of her shows.
Oh,
At the Mercury Gallery, which is just across the street from your gallery.
Mercury.
That was it was last year, so that's why it's sort of hazy. But yeah, you went to her show, and you've sort of met her in passing. You shared a couple of words. Because, yeah, it wasn't really something you were all that interested in, but you were more... You're friends with the owner of the other gallery, so you
Yeah.
just went to support her, really, rather than Abigail.
Yeah, and more of a schmoozing
Yeah.
session for me. I thought I recognised the name, Abigail Wright. I've met her before. Not properly, but only in passing. She's quirky. Her work isn't something that I would ever put up in my gallery, but that's by the by.
Isn't quirky a requirement for most artists?
Yeah, it's usually. I usually focus on the more extreme levels of quirky, like your Van Goghs. Sorry, my pronunciation was off there. That's what I usually focus on mainly. So, avant-garde, postmodern stuff, not really my vibe, but she was rather respected in the community, from what I remember. And her work wasn't all that bad. Is there anything I can, I don't know, like have a little search around, see if there's something like artistic about this, or if it is just the creations of a mad mind, you know? See if I can spot any patterns to it as a whole instead of looking
yeah.
at individual things.
Roll your classical art skill.
Okay. Well, it's been a while since I've done my classical art. I'm more into the history side of things now, but that's actually a pass.
Critical success.
Wonderful.
For sure. It's difficult when you look at it because a lot of the stuff has been moved, but it is very clear now that you spent a little bit of time in the apartment that everything's very purposeful. Certainly the individual things, but also the setup as a whole to a certain extent, to a lesser extent actually. It's more about the individual items. But you think back to important and sort of meaningful paintings, and there is a kind of language to art, and like when you see a dog it means something like this, and when you see a lake it means something like this, and a lot of the seemingly unconnected items you'd say speak to a journey of an epiphany, knowledge. There's a lot of things referencing royalty, or royalty or nobility. And new beginnings, time is another theme. Yeah, that's what I'll give you.
Okay. Wait, stop. Don't take that down. Do you see the pattern?
No, sorry.
There's levels to this.
So I'm gonna step away from the wall and go stand next to him and kind of
Yeah, I try and
try to discern what he sees, but I'm not seeing it.
I try my best to do that sort of pointing from your own perspective, expecting someone else to see from your perspective what you're pointing at. Look, there's the journey. It starts here and moves across onto this wall. You see the knowledge and the epiphany happen in this moment. And there's royalty, themes, and nobility. Time is a clear theme. Oh, this is very detailed.
Roll another sanity check as well, please.
Oh, God.
You understand too much.
Passed.
That's okay.
I mean, it's mind-boggling. But there's something here.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not the very artsy type. Well, at least my art's a different style of art. We're dealing with the electronics and programming.
Oh yes, I'm no techie. Give me a paintbrush and I'm your man, but give me a phone and I can barely work the thing.
Saying electronics, let me go check on that thing, see if it's got some power now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, you check on the device. Still seems to be blank. Can you roll your craft electrician roll? Yeah, it's clearly not charging for some reason. You think, because you've never seen this kind of device before, you're not sure where to start, but you think maybe if you were to take it apart, you could work out, or make some kind of adapter to it yourself. Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be working correctly.
Alright, so I picked it up and I'm pushing all the buttons on it. It doesn't seem to be getting a charge. I know if I could take it apart, I could probably figure it out.
Well, you're a braver person than I am. That's for sure. Is Mustache in the room?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
I'm just like wandering around, picking through things.
Do you smell a bit like cigarette smoke?
Probably.
I get a big whiff. Oh, haven't had one of those in a while. Can I be able to pinch one of those from you?
Pass one to you.
Mind if I light it in here?
Don't know that we should smoke in here. All this evidence.
Yeah.
The hallway would be fine though.
Yeah.
It is the 90s after all.
Yes, and while everybody tends to smoke inside, I'm not big on it, so if you wouldn't mind stepping outside, I'd appreciate it.
That's fine. I'll walk outside and have a smoke. My first.
Hey, why don't I
thought
show
was-
you the? I show you the basement where her art is kept.
Oh, amazing.
It's not Abigail's Abigail's art that's down there. It's Thomas Manuel's art.
Manuel's, I meant.
Would I have known that name?
No, that name doesn't ring a bell.
How many artists are in this building? Jeez.
As far as we can tell, something about the art itself is tied to all of the happenings and the disappearances. Mr. Manuel, before we escorted him in cuffs off the property, was crazily insistent on finishing his masterpiece and that he understands what's going on and thought it would help him transcend to something.
Well,
Marble, can you roll a bureaucracy check?
yeah. Bureaucracy. There we are. Ah, just
No worries,
failed.
yeah, nothing additional occurs to you. Remember to tick the checkbox next to any rolls you fail.
Thanks. I've met a lot of artists that are very focused on their magnum opus. Guess that's not really out of the strange possibility of strange. I'd like to check out this painting if I could.
I imagine I was like telling you all that while we walked down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you walk outside of the building and down some steps down to a basement door, and opening that up with the keys that you've got. Marble, you've also been given keys to both Abigail's apartment and the building itself,
Cool.
along with your briefing packet. Mustache leads you down a stairway. Down here is quite sort of dark and dusty, and there's at the bottom of the stairs there's a little pull chain in the ceiling that lights up the light bulb, and then there's a couple of adjoining side chambers, mostly storerooms, and one of them seems to be set up like a studio with a bunch of canvases stacked against the wall. Mustache, you noticed that the 3 pails of linseed oil with the note on that you found yesterday, they're no longer there. But other than that, everything as it was. You can both roll alertness as well.
Not the most alert.
Mustache, you spot in one of the other storerooms, there's a bunch of cardboard boxes stacked together. On the top one, you see that there's it's like some black and white photographs stacked on the top of the open cardboard box.
While he's looking at the art, I would go over and peruse through them. You said what was missing?
The pails of linseed oil. So yesterday you found 3 of those stacked up with a post-it note on top of them that said "For Sammy Pickup." And when you questioned Thomas Manuel about it, he said that they were his because he uses them for art, but he didn't know about the post-it note. He didn't know who Sammy was. Looking through the photographs, there seem to be several photographs of the interior. You think of the McAllister building, you recognise the stairway and the hallway, but there's rooms that you don't recognise, the larger rooms. You think that these are probably photos from maybe before there were apartments, like the early days of this house. And there's several photos of like a 1940s to 1960s family. There are a man and a woman and a boy and a girl in a couple of different photographs. But also, can you roll a sanity check?
My God, I've succeeded every single roll today.
It's just as well. Yeah, you're so low already. You see this dog that you recognise. On the back of this photo is written "Family with Abraham, Christmas '47," and there's a torn photo of this dog that you recognise as the dog that you saw upstairs in the night floors.
And not surprising.
What have you got there, Mustache?
Some old photos. I've seen this dog before. On the sixth floor of this building.
Oh, yes. The floors that don't exist right now. This dog is from the 1940s. There's no way it could be running around.
It was running around, but it was also invisible to anyone who hadn't eaten one of these, and I'll pull out the last little seed pod that I got from Malachi. And
Mustache, can you roll a sanity check with a plus 40% bonus?
Didn't need the bonus.
Excellent. Yeah, so very professionally you pull it out and show it to Marble. Marble, you see this little glass vial with a gold embossed stopper, and inside it is a sort of like golden brown coloured seed pod, quite long, like a broad bean, I guess. Not anything that you immediately recognise.
Has this been tested in a lab?
don't really have access to a lab.
True. Well, that's a rather ornate design. Looks rather post-Gothic. Would I be able to glean anything about when this was created?
Your art history is high enough to... You think that it's sort of 1800s? Probably late 1800s, 1850 plus.
This is 19th century. Where did you find this?
Stairs.
Is this on the floors that aren't around?
Nod my head at you.
And you've eaten it, and now you can see things. That's...
Well, I could. Well, in the night, I'm not sure if I still have the ability. It seemed as if I was walking between two worlds. I can't quite explain it. Manuel knew what it was. He knew the effects of these things. I believe just by living in this building, he was going insane.
I mean, I can see why. Without this beautiful bottle, everything else seems strange also. Good thing to have on us, I think. But unnerving. Be like this dog.
Marble, you will have also had the opportunity to see the paintings that are stacked in the adjoining room.
Awesome.
And there's one of a dancing clown, child-sized clown, with a paper dragon being twirled over its head. Can you roll a sanity check, please?
Yep.
Nice. It is unsettling that you're seeing a painting of a child-sized clown when this morning you saw a mannequin dressed much the same way. Eerily similar. Not entirely. The one that you saw had like a diamond pattern on its clothing. And the mask was gold rather than white, but very similar. There are also two other unsettling paintings. There's this one of yellow cloaked individual at the top of a stairway which is on fire,
Mm.
and also of this either two men staring at each other, looking very similar, but one's quite grotesque. Maybe a man looking at his own reflection.
Ah, the
And
artistry
also-
on show is beautiful.
With the tag labelled My Great Work is a blank canvas.
Mm. I think that Marble's brain would immediately go to modern artists who produce this sort of work, and that's not his scene. So he immediately gets a little enraged, but then realizes what he's involved with. Is there any way I can inspect these from, like, the other ones for titles? Do they have names as well, or is it just this My Great Work that's been titled?
Yeah, they're all tagged.
Okay.
One's the Dancing Clown, A Fire in the House, and The Twins.
Mm.
So the other ones are sort of self-evident.
Yeah. But there are links between them. There's a lot of circus things that have a lot of work with twins, and Fire in the
You
House
roll
speaks to
your,
great tragedy.
Roll your classical art.
Yeah. No.
So check it, and much as you said, you're kind of infuriated initially as you see this, and you think, oh god, modern art. I just don't understand it.
Hmm.
It's pointless. Yeah.
This. I was expecting something a little better, I'll be honest with you. It's always this modern art stuff, and if you look at the quality of the other work, what caused such a pivotal shift in his philosophy? And you say that he was maybe going insane because of what was around him. Is that right, Mustache?
He was surely acting like it. Though, if you'd spent much time in the night floors, you would likely understand. I can't quite convey to you what happened to me up there.
That sounds like something I would prefer to avoid, if possible. One last thing about these paintings, like, is there a timeline? Like, which one was first? Is there a way that I can tell that sort of thing?
No, there's not really any way of telling. Felt like a close forensic examination, but even then, you reckon they were probably close together, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, but
You're
there's
not sure
no,
which
like...
one was made first.
Okay.
I'll say actually that the My Great Work one is the one that's on the easel. The others are stacked.
Got you. So My Great Work is the most recent.
Back in the apartment, Macintosh, what are you up to? You there, Sol?
Yep, sorry, forgot I turned on push to talk.
Oh, no worries. What are you up to in the apartment?
Well, I think I'm gonna try to dismantle this device to see if I can get it to charge, because it's gonna bug me now that it's not charging.
Absolutely. Okay. So you want to make sure it's done right. You want to break anything. So you're quite careful with unscrewing the casing of this device, and it takes you a little time. Can you roll a sanity check?
Oh.
Okay. So everything's proceeding as normal, and then you open the casing, which takes probably about a quarter of an hour getting this thing apart. And then can you roll another sanity check? Okay. I would say Yeah, still take 1 point of sanity, because what you see as you unscrew this device and open it up, there are no wires or microchips or anything within the casing, but nor is it empty. Within this case, there is packed soil. There are 2 loose seed pods, much as you found up in the night floors, some sticks and leaves, and also immediate movement and a flash of gold as a strange, like beetle-like insect. As you remove the top casing from the iPad, it flies out of this dirt in the casing and flies up into the room and starts flying around and lands on the side of the wall.
I would imagine I was like sitting at the kitchen counter doing this where I had it plugged in. So I'm gonna look around and try to find a glass or something and run over to where this bug is at on the wall and just trap it to the wall.
Okay. Roll a Dex times 5 check.
Which one is that?
So it's one of your statistics. Roll a Dex check.
I am overlooking that. I am not seeing it.
It's a different tab.
Ah, that could be why. Times 5?
Yes.
It's got pluses on this. Or I dropped that down. No, it's plus minus.
There's no... It'll be a times 5, but no plus or minus.
Yeah, when I clicked on it, it's got modify roll, and then it says modify target.
Oh, sorry.
With a plus minus, and it looks just like all the other ones. I don't see anything for a times 5.
I think you just click on it, which I thought that was an extra screen.
Yeah, I think it's if you just go on statistics and then just click, I think, just the percentage. That should do a times 5 for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you grab a glass from the kitchen area and creep up on the bug slowly, and then in one swift movement you clasp it and get some paper underneath the glass, so you've got it in a glass. And you do not recognize this insect. It's like a golden beetle. It's it sort of glimmers in the light.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it back over to the counter and put the glass on the counter, and then something like a plate on top of it to make sure it stays in. And just bewildered, I'm gonna sit there and look at the inside of this case of the device, like puzzled as to how it worked up on the night floors when it's full of dirt and sticks.
Yeah, it is incomprehensible. There is no way this thing should have worked. So as you mull over that, shall we take a mid-session break? Take 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Sure.
works for me.
Sounds good. So we will return at 1:15.
See you then.
See you shortly.
Hmm.
The linseed oil has disappeared.
I wouldn't know that though, right?
No, you wouldn't.
Okay.
So I replace a motivation with...
Yes, you click the edit button next to one of the motivations, and then click is a disorder, and put in sleep disorder instead. So mechanically, if you ever think that you're playing your motivations particularly well, you can say that and you can restore a willpower. Which is sometimes
No.
handy.
Also, that 1d6 was for my unnatural.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, you get 6 points in unnatural for having experienced the night floors and been driven insane by it.
Are you okay there, Mustache? You look a little... I don't know. Tired.
So I didn't get much sleep last night.
Hmm. I have a similar thing, but I just take a concoction of prescription things and feel much better. Maybe I can point you in the direction of my doctor.
I'm not much one for taking meds,
Oh,
but if they change my mind, I'll let you know.
yeah. These paintings are strange, but there's nothing I can glean from them, unfortunately. I'd like to snap a Polaroid of the masterpiece, my great work,
Absolutely.
just in case. And I just kind of wave the Polaroid at you, Mustache. You know how you're supposed to shake them?
Yes. Yeah, very steadily the picture develops, and it is the blank canvas.
Okay.
Actually, Marble, roll alertness.
Will do.
It develops into the blank canvas, but there's a second or two during the process of the picture forming, where it looks like on the canvas there is a basic painting of a bottle, just like no, actually not. It's like sketched out. You see the shape of a standard sort of milk bottle, and then that fades away. And then it's just a photo of the blank canvas.
I walk over to Mustache and say, do you see anything strange on this photo?
And by the time you see it, Mustache, it's just a photo of the blank canvas.
Looks pretty normal to me.
There was something on there a moment ago. I sketch out a copy of what I saw into my notepad.
So Agent Marble draws the outline of a milk bottle.
This is what I saw. You seen anything like that in your investigation yet?
I don't believe so.
Well, you do think back to the night floors. You did go up a stairway where there was photographs of lots of different people, all of them carrying a different type of bottle. And also in the painting that you found at what should have been Abigail's new apartment, you made out the shape of a glass bottle in the lake, in like the bed of the lake.
Well, I've seen something similar, maybe.
Do tell.
I don't know exactly. There were these strange photographs. We were even seeing ourselves in them. I don't know what it could mean.
That is the question. Maybe this sketch of the bottle could be something. Maybe if someone's holding a bottle that looks like this one, maybe that's a painting to look for, or... If you see it again, let me know. Yeah, I put the photo in with my notes. I'm ready to put with the general notes upstairs.
Yes. Are you staying around in the basement, or are you going back?
I think I'm done with this room. I'm not sure about you, Mustache.
Let's go check on Macintosh.
Okay, so you make it back to Abigail's apartment, and you can see that Macintosh has trapped a strange-looking golden bug in a glass.
Oh, whoa. What is that?
Under any other circumstance, I'd say you'd never believe me, but considering what we're dealing with, so it was bothering me this thing would not charge. I open it up to find this, and I point to the dirt and the sticks, and this thing comes crawling out.
I'd like to get really close to the bug. Try and look at it as closely as I can.
Okay. It seems to be a type of beetle. It's got a sort of protruding horn and wings. I guess you'd say it's the kind of a cross between a beetle and a depiction of a scarab. But the coloration is all gold.
Would I be able to maybe use my knowledge in the history of arts to see if I've seen something similar in the past?
All I'll say is with your high art history, you're immediately thinking to Egyptian depictions of scarab beetles. But you certainly don't know what type of bug this is, and you don't have any applicable, like, entomology
No.
skills.
I take a photo of it with my Polaroid.
Okay. The thing scutters around the glass after the bright flash appears, and then seems to calm down a bit.
Well, I've never seen anything like that before, but the colorations and just the general, it looks like a perfect Egyptian scarab bug, the sort of thing that would be painted on the wall, but I don't know if anyone with natural colorings like this exists in the real world, but this is like for like perfect depiction. Rather odd.
To say the least.
Do we know of anyone who maybe has some experience with bugs? Maybe it's worth calling Marcus and asking them to, I don't know, get somebody involved.
Marcus seems disinterested in providing us with assistance. He simply said we need to prevent anyone else from being harmed by whatever's going on here.
Standard Marcus, eh? Always helpful.
I still say we burn the place to the ground.
It's a viewpoint I'm starting to come around to. Would I be able to know anyone who has maybe an intricate knowledge of ancient Egyptian art that I could maybe send a photo of this bug to?
Roll a luck test. So that's just the D100. I don't think there's a button for it.
Oh, there's a roll luck at the top of the sheet.
Oh, is there? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, roll luck.
Give that a go.
Nah, no one comes to mind.
Yeah. I can't think of anyone who could help. Maybe, yeah. Not really much I can do with this. But maybe you'd know this, Agent McIntosh. I show her the photo of the great work and say, can you see anything strange in there? Is there a bottle in there?
McIntosh, you just see the picture of a blank canvas.
No, I just see a blank canvas.
Interesting. Put that specific photo, well, all the photos and everything I found into the evidence bag that we've got already. I have a weird theory. That device that you have there, it clearly doesn't work here. I hate that I'm saying this, but what if we brought it upstairs? When it's time.
Yeah, that's kind of where my mind was going as well. I think that's the only thing we have left at this point. It worked there, but not here, and it's full of dirt.
Seems to be the best, the only option we have.
Yep.
Is there anything else around here that maybe feels a little out of place that we should maybe take up with us to see if anything happens? Just this thing, maybe.
There are a few items that you managed to take down from the night floors. The Lombard Street leaflet, the iPad, the ID cards, the seeds, and the Latin book. They're all items you found upstairs.
Right. And they all look the same here than they did up there.
To the people that went up there, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's just tech that has this effect on.
Yeah, so to get to the night floors, obviously, we're gonna have to wait for evening.
At
Yeah.
the moment it's like 10:30 in the morning.
Well, what can we do in the meantime? Is there anything we need to investigate outside of this building?
Well, as of yet, the only thing we tried to investigate was where that homeless fella disappeared in the alley, but we found no door there. I'm wondering if that's not the same situation as we saw here with the night floors. It only shows up some of the time.
It's a good idea. There are some other elements of this that... I mean, the library card. Abigail Wright checked out a library card, and we're not sure what she may have been checking out at the library. To write something like this, I can imagine you're going to need some form of help. It could be useful.
Yeah, we could always go to the library and see what she was checking out.
Just an idea. Same thing with this design, this thing on a post-it note on the napkin. Does anyone know what GBR means? It seems to be pressed with an insignia.
Can't say I do.
Yeah, nothing immediately comes to mind for the GBR. just double check on the napkin as well.
Curious.
Oh, actually, if you're now pointing towards the napkins, Macintosh, the two devices on this, so there's two napkins with diagrams on. One is labelled Liao, and another one is labelled Escriba. You know that Escriba in Spanish is the scribe, and you're not sure what Liao means. You think maybe that's something close to Spanish, maybe that's a Portuguese word or something. And because you're good with craft mechanics, as you're looking through the diagrams, can you roll a sanity check? Okay. The diagrams, you can make neither head nor tail about exactly what this device is supposed to be, but with your technical knowledge, you know how to read a blueprint, and everything seems to be drawn correctly. For like a back of a napkin thing, it's quite detailed, and all the parts are labelled with numbers, and it sort of does check out in terms of things connecting to each other, but you can't really understand the way that this thing moves or what its purpose is.
Alright, so I'm looking this over and just kind of talking to myself. This has to be the most intricate paper napkin design I've ever seen. Looks like a actual blueprint, all noted and everything. My goodness.
Do you know what it does?
I can't really discern that. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely a complete blueprint. Everything appears to be connected the way it should be and noted, and definitely not anything I'd ever expect on a napkin. Certainly nothing I would ever doodle on a napkin.
It would take a lot of physical dexterity to get designs that small on something so frail.
Exactly.
They've even put it in a point of reference with the floor. Yeah. Is there anything I could glean maybe about the art, the visual detail of it? Sort of like anything useful that could come about knowing how this was created? Like, was it done in pen, pencil? I can't see how useful that would be, really.
How high is your forensics?
Oh, not very high. I'll have to find my sheet, one sec.
You haven't got any forensics, have you?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
you
high.
can't really glean much about how it was written.
Okay.
I could take a look at it. Let me see.
You take a look at it. Actually, I can tell you, it was made. The diagram itself was made with a fine pen, but also the blue ballpoint pen that says Liao and the other one that says Escriba. I've just remembered that's the same handwriting as the annotations in the Latin tome.
Ah.
There's nothing else we can compare it to try to figure out whose handwriting?
No, nothing else. You look through the other handwritten documents that you've got. The only things that seem to match are the annotations in the Hygromancer and these two words on the napkins.
Guess I could do my second search of the apartment.
You can if you'd like. Each time you're searching, it's representing probably about an hour passing.
Okay.
I got
So
it.
you start searching. What did the other two want to do during this time?
I think I only did one search, so I'll search again.
Okay. And Marble?
I'll sit down with the book and do a search of the book specifically for the scribe or anything relating to the scribe in Spanish, English, Latin, etc. and Liao as well. See if I can find any reference.
Okay. Yeah, you roll a search as well. Actually, no. Roll your Latin skill.
Cheers.
Oh, mind you, the annotations are in English, but never mind. That works. Okay, so you all start looking through various things. Macintosh, you find... you start sorting... You're being quite methodical. You start sorting through the various bits of clothing that are strapped up to the walls. You find some men's suspenders in quite an old style, along with a bowler hat. You find some long, elegant blue silk gloves. All of this stuff's very fancy, but you also find an I Heart Las Vegas t-shirt that looks like you just buy cheaply in like a souvenir store. And Mustache, you clear a bunch of stuff that's in one of the corners of the room, where there's like a bulge in the wall where there's a lot of objects seemingly like covering something large underneath. You clear that away, and you find quite a large sort of backpack-sized device that you recognize to be some kind of old-style walkie-talkie. How much military science do you have?
10
10.
for land.
10 land, okay. Roll that with a 20% bonus. Okay. Although you don't recognize the exact model of this thing, you know it's an old-style military walkie-talkie that you would strap. It's like a backpack that you would wear. And you can glean how it would work as well. It looks to be affixed to the wall quite securely. There's a lot of epoxy resin all around the edges of the thing.
Try to turn it on and scan through.
Yeah, so remarkably, considering the age of this thing and the fact that you can't see it hooked up to any socket or anything, it comes to life and starts. You hear some static and some a voice. So that may well have been almost incomprehensible. How much of that did you catch?
Literally none, my side.
Yeah. Couldn't understand the voice at all.
That's
No.
okay, it's quite faint. But yeah, there's static, and this message repeats. So you listen through a couple of times, and through the static, you hear the same words repeated. India, Moon, Dallin, Exeter, and then a word that you can't quite grasp it, Daemonon, or Demonon. Then you think sea air, and in between each there's lots of static.
Would you be able to say those again one more time, please?
India, Moon, Dallin, Exeter, Daemonian, and Seer.
Sierra spelt with an S at the beginning.
Well, you don't know how it's spelled. It's just-
That's a fair point. So, just written out, that spells I'm dead? Or IMDEDS. The first letters of all of those, and India is the phonetic alphabet. It's in there. The rest of them aren't. But
it's
could
a
be
man's
wrong
voice with
version.
American accent.
I think we should go check out the Hotel Broadalbin.
Yeah?
There was we heard something about a secret door in the basement. I don't remember where that was.
Is that piece of
Where would you have heard that?
evidence on the board?
I think that might have been one of the notes in the Latin book.
That's what it was, yeah. It was a note. And we have this hand-drawn map.
You do, yes. Mustache, can you also roll a bureaucracy check?
Failing.
No worries. Yeah, nothing else occurs to you on the matter of the radio. I'd also say, as you're all New York natives, or you've all lived here, well actually apart from Mustache, you've been here a year or two, but the other two have been here a long time. Before this operation you haven't heard of the Hotel Broadalbin. Doesn't ring a bell.
Is there a way that we can find out where it is? Do we know its location?
You've got the usual resources that you might be able to check. You can check it up online, look in library records, and those of you who are FBI agents can look up things in the FBI database for anything that you want to source check. And I'm also reminded, Marble, you were looking through the book for... You wanted to find a reference to the scribe.
Yeah, it was mainly because we saw that the handwriting was the same as
Yeah.
the ones in the...
You do
Same.
find, in English, a note that says, the scribe tells me how.
Nothing about Liao.
Not that you can find.
Okay. And there's nothing on the drawing of the scribe that could...
There's no... The page that's on is completely unrelated.
of course. And the actual napkin anagram
And
doesn't
you
show
can't
me
find that
anything.
diagram anywhere. No.
Okay. Okay. I think it's definitely worth checking out this hotel. And maybe if we get time to check out the library as well, I think that could be an interesting venture. What do you think, agents?
I can't see what else we can do here till the evening.
Agreed. Not discerning much from what's on the walls currently, so might as well follow up on other leads.
It might be nice to kind of like reset our eyes as well. We've been looking at these walls for quite some time.
Yeah, at this point it's nearly midday. So if you're going elsewhere, who goes where?
Do you think it's worth staying as a group, or are you going to split up and look for clues?
Oh, during the
Wanted to-
day, it's probably okay to split up, but on those night floors, I definitely don't want to split up again. The last time I got separated was enough for me.
I could go follow this map at the Bredalbin if you wanted to scour the library.
Yeah,
Like
I was
Tosh?
thinking, seeing what Abigail was checking out at the library.
Okay. Me and Macintosh will take the library then. We have our phones, so if anything comes up, feel free to call us or text us, but texting takes forever. So I think a call probably works best. I'll call Otto and make sure that we have a good drive down.
Oh, I have my vehicle. We can take my car.
Oh. Yeah, I don't really drive myself. I don't really have my license.
You'll just have to excuse all the kid stuff in the car.
No problem. You see that Marble, like, looks, like, totally overwhelmed by the amount of kid stuff in this car.
And I'm grabbing gym bags and throwing in the back of the car. Sorry, we had practice last night.
Oh, you have children?
Just one.
Oh, right, okay. I have one, I think.
You think? How could you not know if you have children or not?
It's a long story. One best told over a stiff drink after all this is over, I think.
Okay.
I turn on the radio in the car.
Okay, yeah, it's playing a bunch of classic 90s tunes. Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls is top of the charts at the moment. Mustache, how are you intending to locate the Hotel Brodalbin?
Find a phone book.
Okay. Yeah, so you, I assume they're in phone booths. You get a yellow copy of the yellow pages or white pages or whatever it is. Looking through, you're frustrated to find that there's no number or address for a Hotel Broadalbin in New York.
Guess I would go back to the office then and use the FBI database, see what I can dig up on it.
Okay. Yeah, so you drive to the FBI offices in New York. I'll come back to you because I need to find a page. And Marble and Macintosh, you drive to the New York Public Library. Big grand building.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Humming along to the music.
Alright, we get to the library and I find a spot to park and pull in.
Yep, you find parking easily enough. I assume you've got Abigail's library card with you?
Yeah, it's in my satchel, so I'll
Yep.
pull out my bag and dig through the file and pull out the card. Alright, let's go see what we can find.
Let's do it. I'd like to think that I walk in and smile wryly at the person who's on front desk.
Yeah, so the lady at the desk gives a friendly smile back. Good afternoon. How can I help?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Agent McIntosh, and I'm gonna show her my FBI credentials.
Well, remember your FBI credentials say your real name.
Oh, right. Okay.
I'm like, don't show. We are agents, and we're here to check out what you can tell us about this.
Yeah, so I show her the library card. I'd just like to do some checking on what this Miss Abigail has been checking out.
Yeah, sure, we can do so. Have you got any identification?
So I show her my FBI credentials. Yeah, I corrected myself. I'm Agent Wiley with the FBI.
Look, do we need credentials? Really? We're on very important business, and time is of the essence. Please, just tell us the information we need, and
It's
we'll
okay,
simply
it's
be able
okay,
to-
hon. This checks out. This just checks out. Just you cool your boots. And she passes your FBI card back. Macintosh.
So
Yeah,
put
I
it
can
back in my
take a
pocket.
look. And then she starts typing away. It's probably the early days of computerized systems for check in and check out. And then she gestures you around the other side of the counter. Yeah, so I've got a list of her books here. She hasn't taken out anything in a while.
Is it
And,
possible to get a printout of this list?
yeah, sure, hon. So she, clicks some buttons, and then a very big 90s printer, it's just behind the desk, starts printing out a copy of the list for the last year, or in fact, since the account was opened. So it's like 2 pages print out.
Have you met Abigail before?
I might have, but we serve hundreds of customers every day.
Do we have any form of, like, photo of her?
You
We
have one
have
photo
a-
of her, which is very overexposed. It's this one on the left.
I show her the photo and say, this girl's gone missing, and we could do with your help. I'm sure you can help us with this. Have you seen her before?
Oh, well, and she sort of squints as she looks at the photograph. It's not really the best of photos, but no, I don't recognize her. But here are her checkouts. She passes you the 2 pages.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. Is there anything else I can help with?
That's all at the moment, but if we need something, I will definitely come back and find you.
You have a nice day then.
What was your name, sorry?
Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you. So you step away to sort of take a look at what you've got here. So it looks like there hasn't been anything checked out since her disappearance. The last checkout... Actually, we'll do it in chronological order. So it looks like she's occasionally taken out books from the library throughout her time in New York. She's lived in New York a couple of years, I think. I can't remember the exact date, but maybe like 5 years, I think. And most of her books seem to be on the topic of art, which would make sense. She takes out some poetry books, the occasional sort of classic literature. Then the last... in late May, she takes out several books on like the hidden meaning of plays, a few theatre books, and then the last set of books that she takes out, let's say it's May 28th. Actually, a little bit earlier, like May 25th or something. She takes out a number of books on architecture, and I can tell you what they are, if I can find the right folder.
That's quite a drastic change from everything else that she was looking at.
Yeah, so all on the same day she took out 3 books. Yeah, 3 books on architecture. One's called The Devil's Craftsman by Cavett Monaghan, 1952. Another one is A Darkness at the Corners by Elizabeth Ortiz, 1957. And Architecture, Genius and Mental Illness by Dr. Peter Johansson, 1961.
What was that last one again?
Architecture, Genius and Mental Illness.
Those last ones are rather left field, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, art obviously makes sense. Poetry, I can understand. Classical literature, who doesn't like to read some classics?
Yeah.
Theater, that's starting to... But then these architecture books, Devil's Craftsman, Darkness in the Corner. I wonder if she was trying to figure out what was going on with the building.
It's a very good observation.
But these books are from the 50s. I forget when the building was built.
It's not something you specifically looked into yet.
It's a good train of thought.
Yeah, it might be worth looking up when the building was built. And if these books relate, you know, could be related.
Well, we are in a library. Seems a good spot to go investigating for that. Maybe they'll have some information.
Yeah, let's go ask our friendly librarian.
I'd also like to ask with regards to these books, if we can see them. There may be some more of these notes, annotations in them.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. Let's definitely see if they're here and go pull them from the stacks.
Yeah.
Can I help you
Rebecca?
again, officers?
Yes, you would be most kind. Firstly, do you have any information on this building? And I give you the address. And, yeah, a bit of details about the building.
If you weren't in specific detail, I mean, I can check some references. Depending on what you want, you might want to check City Hall, because they'll be able to get you the blueprints. But let me see what I can find. And she taps away.
Yeah, just maybe a newspaper or something. We're just kind of trying to see when the building was built, but City Hall, like you mentioned, might be our best.
Looks like there's a reference to that address in one of these books you're requesting.
Which one?
In Architecture, Genius, and Mental Illness.
Well, that's very interesting.
Would you be able to show us a copy of that book? Well, the same one, if possible.
You can find them in this section here, and she makes a couple of notes as to where you can find each of these books. Miss Wright never returned the ones that she took out, but we've got multiples.
Sounds like we need to go back to Miss Wright's apartment and look for these books.
Agreed. But it would be nice to maybe just have a little look at that Architecture, Genius, and Mental Illness just while we're here.
Absolutely, just in case we can't find them.
Yes. I've never been any good in a library. Are you good at trying to find books?
Yes, yes, yes. Come on.
Well, she's given you the specific shelves to find them.
Ah, that narrows it down somewhat. Have a look for the book then.
Okay, so you find, you go to the place that you've been indicated and find the books that you want. There's a Darkness at the Corners, and also Architecture, Genius, and Mental Illness. And The Devil's Craftsman.
That's talking about a mansion.
Yeah, this just happens to be the page that you flick it open to.
Right. So as we said, then we're gonna have a little look into the Architecture, Genius, and Mental Illness. See if we can figure out anything about our building.
Okay. So yeah, it'll take you a bit of time to study these books. So we'll hop back across town to Mustache. So you head into the FBI offices, and you see some of your usual colleagues. Jones, who you've worked with a couple of cases, spots you and sort of waves. Hey, haven't seen you in the last couple of days. You good?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just been a long couple days.
Yeah, well, weekend tomorrow. Or are you on duty?
I like almost nervous to even talk to people right now, and I'm low on sanity and sleep, so I'm just kind of probably look a little strung out even and go to my desk.
He probably senses that and
Half-assed conversations like
he heads off. So you're specifically looking for references to the Hotel Brodelbin?
yeah.
Okay. Try rolling. Roll a criminology or law with plus 20%. Okay. Yeah, so first checking on the computer, you're just getting a reference to a file in the basement. So then you, and it's an old, because you're only getting the date and the file number, but it's an old file from, I think the 20s. Might be important. Well, it is important. Let me find the year.
So you're looking for something?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't miss you. You were waiting for me.
A specific one is alluding to, but sometime in the 1920s it's referenced. And you go down to the basement and find the particular file that you're looking for. And you basically looking through the files relating to a case of a series of drownings of children back in the 20s. And the culprit was found to be a man by the name of Asa Darabondi. And his last known address is supposedly the Hotel Brodelbin, New York, but it doesn't give a specific address within the files, where that actually is. And the records indicate that the suspect was never apprehended. But his diaries were found, in which he admitted to the killings.
Am I able to figure out where it was and what has replaced it? Like,
No, it's very strange. There's just this one reference to it being his last place of residence, but there's no specific address. Oh, actually, it's not in 20s. Sorry, it's much later. 30th of August, 1950. After a fire breaks out at his office, which you've got an address for, on Mott Street in New York, the body of a girl by the name of Isabel Sauer, who's 5 years old, is found, dead from drowning next to a wash tub filled with bloody water. That's when the warrant was issued for his arrest. in the following days, it's discovered that Darabondi owes nearly $200,000 to a bank, and he kept a logbook of accounts which implied that he killed perhaps 20 children since his arrival to New York in 1921. So there's a record of his office address, and it lists his last residence as the Hotel Broadleben, but there's no address for that.
I would go to his last residence then.
Well, it's not his last residence, his office.
Oh, yeah.
And
I couldn't tell if you meant those were the same place or not.
Sorry, a different place. And he's an architect. Looking up that address in the phone book, you find that it is now like a law firm.
Okay. Yes, so I can go to that address?
If you'd like to. I'm just saying you first look it up and it's no longer like in his name or anything. It's a law firm. Do you remember this is 40 years later? 45 years later. So is that your next stop? Do you want to go to the office on Mott Street?
I guess. I don't really have any other leads, so...
Okay. So you get back to your car. Hop back across town in the library. Macintosh and Marble. You've spent some time reading through the books that you've got. Let's see. Okay, so I can give you this summary of the books that you're reading. So, you don't initially start, I mean, all three books are about architecture. Specifically, Architecture, Genius and Mental Illness is about Asa Darabondi, this architect who was apparently mentally ill. Actually, all three of them. Yeah, they are all about him. Specifically. Yeah, all of these books are about Asa Darabondi, an architect who is thought to have killed 20 children back throughout the 20s, 30s, through to the 50s, when this was discovered. He was famous for constructing buildings that he called thought buildings, initially starting in Chicago between 1905 and 1921, and then there's reports of him having some kind of religious revelation, which it mentions in one of the books, and another one it mentions this as a drug experience. During this time, he moved to New York in 21, and then he took up residence in a hotel in Midtown. There's 9 buildings in New York that he designed that still stand, and they're not like the buildings that he built back in Chicago. Actually, no, the ones that he built in New York are said to be quite mundane. And then after he disappeared in 1950, he was suspected of having drowned at least 5 children beginning in 1947, it says in this book. Vanished without a trace in 1950, leaving behind the drowned body of 5-year-old Isabel Sauer. huge debts and a logbook which seems to track the deaths of children dating back to 21. And he was declared legally dead on the 2nd of September 1960. In the pages of The Devil's Craftsman, there is a photo that drops out. There seems to be stuff between the pages, which is this photo.
Very dapper chap.
Very dapper chap stood in front of these ornate doors with the letter B emblazoned on each side. And there's a note, well, there's a caption that reads, Darabandi lived for a time at NYC Hotel, which he helped restore in lieu of payment. Now, we'll say that, Marble, you were reading this one. You recognise through the window in the photo the very recognisable flagpole with a distinctive stone base. This is the flagpole on the edge of I think it's called the Freedom something flagpole. It's next to a park. There's a particular page that I need to find. But yeah, you recognise where in New York this is.
Great.
Oh, there we go. It's the Eternal Light Flagstaff at the edge of Madison Square Park.
And the bees. We know that the name of the hotel was Hotel Bradalbin, so that could quite clearly be that hotel. If I know where this is definitely worth a visit. I turn to Macintosh and relay what I've found.
Also, one of the books has a headshot of him.
Interesting.
There's nothing strange about any of this. This all seems relatively mundane, right? Apart from the horrific things he did.
Yeah, apart from being crazy and killing kids. But I mean,
Yeah.
buildings are buildings.
Well,
Or one would think.
yeah. I'd be curious to find out what this hotel's about. Seems as though it's mentioned in this photo. There's bees in the glasswork. And we've got that map. Even if it's not a hotel anymore, it might be worth checking out the building.
Yeah. Seems like a good next stop. Shall we
Agreed.
let Mustache know where we're off to?
Definitely. And it might be worth giving him a call and seeing what he found as well.
Yeah.
I try my best to work the technology in front of me.
Yeah, newfangled.
Yeah. Macintosh, I know that you're good with these sort of things. Do you mind?
Not at all. So I'll take out my phone and dial Mustache.
Yeah, Mustache, your phone rings as you're
Mhm.
approaching your car.
Hello, this is Mustache.
Mustache, this is Macintosh and Marble. We are about to leave the library. We found some interesting books that Miss Abigail checked out, and they all lead to this one guy, Asa Dirabandi. Found out he was living in a hotel, so we're gonna go check out this hotel, see if we can find out any more information about this guy.
Sounds like a decent lead. The Hotel Bredalbin is a dead end. Doesn't exist anymore.
Curious. We found not some reference to it specifically, but apparently, according to these books, he died, or he took up residence in an unnamed midtown hotel. It must be the Bondi.
Yeah, with the bees on the door that
Exactly.
we saw in that photo.
That is a B. It's not a D. Who knows? Yeah, brought up.
I was gonna go to the office that used to be run by this man. Tell them his name. But perhaps I'll meet up with you. I don't really expect to find anything there.
Well,
And that name is the
where
same.
is it? Is it the same? Is it the same place?
It's not the same.
I'll read them
place.
the address.
The office was on Mott Street, I think is it. But it's not. It's not where the. It's not near Madison Square Park.
Okay. I mean, if you think that your lead, our lead is worth chasing more, then that's entirely up to you. You're obviously welcome down here with us.
Yes, I'll meet up with you.
Great.
Be there in under an hour.
Race you.
No, I don't do any racing.
Fine. I don't drive, so guess neither do I.
Get in the car.
So, about, let's see, half an hour later, the three of you have met up in front of the Eternal Light Flagstaff. And you're kind of scratching your heads as you look across the road. Because the building that's across there, it's an Italian restaurant, and then apartments above it. It doesn't look like it's in the same... Because you've got the photo with you, you took the books out. It doesn't look like it's in the same angle as where the photo through the doorway would have been taken. And there's certainly no Hotel Broadalbin there. You can't see any bees on the doors. Or, as I say, it's an Italian restaurant. Yeah, and it doesn't look to be quite in the same angle as the photo. Maybe it was demolished and replaced, but it's not quite right.
I try and stand where the perspective would be correct. Is there like
So if you try and stand
what's behind me?
If you try and stand where Ace Darabondi was stood in the reflection, or where the building should be,
Yeah.
it's more like there's a junction between two roads on the edge of the park. The building that you're looking at is sort of further back from that.
Well, clearly lots of things have changed since this photo was taken.
Yeah. Look, we know that things aren't always what they seem with these sort of buildings. One seems to grow of a night time. Possibly something happens to this one at night time. That's just speculation. Either way, we're not finding you here.
It doesn't explicitly say it in the notes, but I will also tell you, within one of the architecture books that you looked at the library, it lists the buildings that he designed in New York, One of them is labelled as the Lundeen House, and it says it's in Kips Bay. It doesn't give this specific... Well, it gives the street address rather than the number, but that is where the McAllister building is.
Lundeen House.
Yeah. Actually, no, it will give the specific address. It doesn't reference it as the McAllister building. It refers to it as the Lundeen House.
I see that. Well, that's the address of the McAllister house there. Appears that it's been renamed.
Is the McAllister House the one that we've been investigating?
That's where Abigail's apartment is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what's the Lundeen House then? Why would they change the name?
Well, if he designed that building and after the horrific things he did to those children, I could see them wanting to change the name.
That's a fair point. Have we had any reference of notes to Lundeen House at all?
No, this would be the first time you've read Lundeen House.
Okay.
I will say the photos that you found in the basement, they were all of the McAllister building, but a lot of the rooms that you saw photos of, you didn't... I mean, you've only really been in Abigail's apartment, but Macintosh, you've also been in Thomas's apartment and the rest of the building to a certain extent. Those photos, the rooms all seem bigger, so it seems like the building since the 50s has been altered.
So the actual layout of the rooms in the building have been changed.
Seemingly.
Like it looks like it's been gutted and refitted.
Yeah.
Partition,
Thinking back to
more
what
like.
I've seen
Okay.
between these photos and what we've seen of the building, yeah, it's possible at some point they gutted the building and redid the layout. Sounds like we maybe need to make a trip to City Hall and look at old blueprints and permits and things.
It's a good idea. We should also be mindful of the architectural mind, the ability to... I think that this is a person with secrets, and a person with secrets who is an architect is likely to create a lot of secret rooms and lots of secret doors, etc. So it might be worth searching the area for the building, the McAllister building, for any sort of secret doors or secret rooms, especially if there's been a massive change.
Yes, and those things tend to show up at night in that building.
Yeah.
So, is your next step City Hall?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless Mustache has something he wants to check out.
No.
Okay. So, drive across town to City Hall, and you're able to... who's got the highest bureaucracy?
Probably me.
Has anyone got 50 or higher?
I've got a 50.
Nice, okay.
Mm.
Yeah, so you're able
22.
to obtain, for a charge of $200, which is
Oh,
probably nothing to
That's
marvel.
fine for me.
They're able to print out photostatic copies of the blueprints for the McAllister building, along with any supporting documents over the course of the building's record.
I also searched the system for the Lundin building just in case there's something on the
Yeah,
file.
basically you find out quite quickly when you request the McAllister details that that's clearly what it used to be called.
Right.
So there's a couple of things that you find. So you find the original building permit here. So built in, well, the permit was granted 27th of May 21 to Henry M. Lundin of a different address.
Excuse me. Ah.
It's going to be built where it is, East 32nd Street. And the architect is listed as A. Derry Bondi.
Interesting. This says private residence, not a multifamily.
Yeah, it's not saying apartment, it's saying private residence.
Also explains why it was called the Lundin building. It was for Henry. Lundin House, even.
You also get a copy of the blueprints for the building. They won't actually say Abigail Wright's apartment, for example. They'll just say apartment 1, so it doesn't have the names of the tenants. But these are the blueprints.
And this is the
One-
original blueprints, yeah?
No, these are the current
The
blueprints.
current ones. Okay.
There's a note stapled with the paperwork that you've got as well, which catches your attention, which is on the same letter-headed paper saying Hotel Broadalbin that you saw in the map that was pinned to Abigail's wall, with a handwritten note that says, "I saw the rooms tonight at dusk."
And that handwriting, is it the handwriting we've seen before?
Mustache with your eye forensics, if you take a look at it, doesn't match any handwriting that you've got. Doesn't match the blue ballpoint pen or anything. You can roll forensics though.
You want me to do it or all of us?
Yeah, if you could do that. So it's clearly a man's handwriting. It's old. You think this is from the 30s or 40s? Handwriting. Probably like an aristocratic man, you would say.
Doesn't match anything else we have though.
Not any other samples of handwriting that you've got. So it's not the same as the blue ballpoint pen or any of the ID cards or anything. And the last thing is you find some sort of general details of the story of the bureaucracy of the building. So it was constructed, the permit was granted 27th of May 21. It was finished construction in 21st of May 24. And then it was sold by the Lundin Estate 3rd of February 53 to a company called the Star Corporation, which some quick research shows that is a holding company based in Delaware, and that's when it was renamed the McAllister Building. And then it was sold again on the 6th of May 1967 to a company called ArtLife.
Art Life is a curious name, considering.
Yes.
I think both of those companies could be looked into. The Star one as well. Well, I guess we're in Town Hall. This would be a good place to look into companies that have been created, right? I don't know how.
Yeah, it's probably a good start.
We should probably also see what happened to the hotel.
Hmm.
By this time, it's let's say 2 in the afternoon.
Okay. It was sold really quickly, though. They only had it. Star Corporation only had it from 53 to 67, which isn't that long, but it's pretty long thinking about it.
Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah. So Star must have made that change from it being residential to being flats, or apartments even. But then Art Life have had it since 67. If we knew when the extra floors started coming around, we could start to kind of hone in what company to start talking to.
But these blueprints here of the current layout still only show the 3.
Yeah. Yeah, there shouldn't be extra floors.
So you want to look into the companies?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a cursory look, maybe, just to start off with.
Since all three of you are there, you've got high enough bureaucracy amongst you that you get the details. Don't get much on Star Corporation, and you think that's probably because they're based out of state, so they're a Delaware company. But from what the small amount of details you can find, it's a holding company that likely bought the Lundin house, then renamed it the McAllister Building. In the building records that you've already got, you find that they're the ones that converted it from being a residential building to an apartment building. That took a couple of years, and then it kind of sat empty for a while until they sold it to ArtLife. ArtLife, you find some more details for. It's a company still in operation, it still owns the building, and the details that you find about it is that it's set up to provide cheap accommodation for up-and-coming artists. They own the building, they handle the rent from for the tenants, and you've got an office address for them, which is on 23rd and 3rd Avenue East, which is just like a street or two away from the McAllister. Open 10:30 to 6, Monday to Friday.
You would think that a building like this would have a number of complaints, and they're going to complain to their tenancy agreement, which would be these guys' ArtLife. So maybe they have some records of previous notes.
Good thinking. Worth checking out.
Yeah, we've not really got much else to go off here. This building doesn't seem to exist, at least not anymore.
I would similarly, you have a lot of trouble finding anything on the Hotel Broadbent. It just doesn't show up in any city records. You can't even find a reference to it.
Just doesn't exist. Are we able to find like a employee that looks like they've been here a while? Maybe like some old boy in the corner that's stacking shelves, because maybe it's not in physical records, but maybe there's like local knowledge. Just ask a gentleman or anyone in here that maybe worked here for a while.
Okay, roll a luck test. No one... Well, I mean, you don't know without talking to anyone, but there's a lot of young people that you see around.
Right.
No one looks like they're part of the furniture.
Okay.
Very
Is there anything
odd
else that we need to
there's
do
no-
here? What was that, sorry?
I was just thinking, it's so odd. There's no record of the hotel, but I mean, we've got this stationery, we've got the photo.
Yeah. We have so much evidence that it exists, but nothing official.
Well, we probably should head over to Art Life before they close, and by the time we finish there, it should be getting close to dark that we can go check out the night floors.
And that sounds like a plan to me. Mustache?
Yeah, we still have a few hours.
Yep.
Let's start.
It's about 2:30 now. Probably be 3 by the time you get to Wildlife. So you all go together to Wildlife?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I say, it's a building quite close to Art Life. It's a small office, part of a... there's a collection of other offices of various other sort of service industry kind of buildings. There's like a law firm and accountants and Art Life on 23rd and 3rd Avenue East. The sign on the door says open. And within the small office, a friendly-looking woman greets you. I've got a headshot for her. Yeah, so as you enter, this lady...
Those
good afternoon
earrings.
there.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
And how can I be helping you today?
Oh, we're with the FBI and investigating the disappearance of one of your tenants at
Oh, Abigail.
McAllister. Yes, ma'am.
Right, of course. Well, anything I can do to help. She's a good kid.
Well, we just had some questions about the building in general, if there were any complaints about other tenants, if y'all have done any work to the building since acquiring it, just anything you can provide to us that could be of assistance.
Well, as far as I understand, the building used to be a residential house, but we bought it from a company called Star Corporation. They'd converted it to apartments. We rented it out to artists at a discount to up-and-coming artists and those that we want to bank on the success of, I guess. In terms of complaints, I think it's more the other way around. Art Life isn't... I mean, in normal circumstances, Art Life wouldn't be very happy with the tenants. It's all been pretty odd these last few months. No one's been paying any of their rent.
Odd in what way?
So not a single person has paid rent in the past few months?
No one's paid any rent to us since May.
Have you not taken any steps to evict or get your money?
Well, between you and me, eviction, Yeah, it's on the cards. We haven't really pushed the matter because it's only the building's only half full at the moment, and we'd quite like to renovate it again. So if they continue to, we've sent late payments, but we haven't sent any bailiffs or anything. But once the time elapses, they'll be out. It's weird. I haven't had to evict a whole building at once before.
Have you spoken with any of them before?
Yeah, I mean I know all the tenants, but I haven't spoken to them, any of them in months. No one's contacted me.
You've not seen any of them?
No, I haven't seen any of them. No one's come to
Hmm.
report any leaks or anything, or phone me.
I could understand one tenant not paying rent, but everybody? That's
Yeah, so not too long we're gonna send the bills onto a collection agency and we'll start processing evictions.
Can you think of any reason why everybody would just drop tools at the same time and stop paying you?
I don't know. I mean they are artists. You never know what they're gonna do. I suppose it's like that like commune in Denmark. That's maybe they're anarchists.
It's a
I don't know.
possibility,
I mean,
see.
maybe they've got together and decided that they don't believe in rent anymore.
Does sound like artists to me, but I have one question. It's about your earrings. They're quite unique.
Oh, these. Yeah, roll a sanity check.
Gosh. Great. Wow.
Yeah, lose 1 point of sanity.
How do you do that? How do you go about doing that? Is it just
You just
whatever
type it
number
in.
is it, take one
It's a lower
off?
number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You as soon as you asked the question, because you could swear that you was just staring at her earrings and you thought they had the symbol that you saw on the scrap of paper and the shop room door, and then you sort of blink and you realise that's not. She's just wearing normal golden earrings.
Well, like hoops.
Hoops. Just hoops, no symbol in the middle of them. And in fact, Macintosh and Mustache, neither of you could see the symbol at all. Are these their, it's not real gold, but I don't know what's special about them.
They're very elegant. Mustache, I want to pinch one of those cigarettes again if I can. Just need a moment.
Sure.
I grab them and I walk outside. And I light one.
So is there any word on what's happened to Abigail?
nothing yet. We're still investigating everything we found and following up even the smallest lead we can find.
He was one of our most promising tenants. I mean, Mr. Karoon has had success in his career, but Abigail's what you would call a rising star.
So that's what I heard, is that she was starting to do very well for herself.
He had a show with the Mercury Gallery last year. She sold a lot of her paintings. He's, yeah, great career.
Well, ma'am, I thank you for your time. I think that's all the questions I have at the moment.
Of course. Well, if you need anything else, I'm here Well, I won't be here over the weekend, but I'm here until 6.
Oh, thank you. And I'm gonna go walk out and stand like a few feet away from Marble while he's smoking.
What does this all mean?
I don't know. So, you know your mind plays tricks on you after a while, eh? Must have just been a trick of the mind, but I saw the symbol. You know, the one that we saw on the scrap of paper that was in her earrings. Is that just my mind, or that? I don't know.
I
Get
didn't
it.
see anything. I just saw plain gold hoops.
You're talking about this one, and I'll pull out the little yellow paper. The triangle thing is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Everyone roll sanity?
Oh. I don't get on with that symbol very well.
Perhaps we should speak
must-
with more of...
Before you talk, Mustache, you take 4 points of sanity damage, and Marble
Whoa.
takes 3.
That's cool.
So you take out the symbol, and you show it, and I can tell you, it's just as it was before. Mustache and Marble, looking at it now, suddenly, I guess you just sort of blink, and then suddenly you think, this is the most important clue that you found all day, and it's just been sitting in your pockets, and you've got a feeling, particularly Marble with your, well, in fact both of you have a bit of an artistic background, that the symbolism contained within this small symbol is the key to everything, and it's magnificent.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Mustache? I'd like to...
Uneasy, queasy,
Yeah,
tired.
but look at
And,
it.
both of you can check under your psychological tab the next check mark of helplessness.
Well, it would seem that Mr. Manuel and Abigail are not the only ones suffering from whatever malady is being triggered within that building. Maybe we should see what the other tenant, and especially now that we know none of them are paying rent, maybe we should go see what the symbol means to any of them.
Yeah, I mean... It's the only thing we can do, I guess. Not really much we're gonna find.
So with you
light
both
another
having
cigarette.
taken a fair chunk of sanity there, and actually I should ask, do either of you want to project that sanity loss onto your bonds? Just so you've got the choice. Okay, that's fine. And Marble?
No, not yet.
That's fine. So how... 'cause it's an odd thing to describe. You're entranced and you're frustrated, but you sort of know that this symbol means a whole lot that maybe you're not seeing, but you just feel it. How is this sanity loss sinking in with you two?
Well, Marble is definitely losing hope. He doesn't like things he doesn't understand, which is kind of why he doesn't like modern art. And the deeper into this he gets, the less and less he understands. So, just starting to just seem frustrated, and like his fuse is a lot shorter.
Absolutely. And Mustache,
I
how's
mean,
this little
Mustache is
raid?
just more of the same. Despondent and downtrodden.
Yeah, it's like it's something's just beyond your grasp and you can't get it. So with this unsettling revelation, I think we'll call the game to a close for today, since we're neatly on time.
Yeah.
Everyone make sure you've checked all of your failed skills. You may want to sort of roll back up in case you've missed any. And then if you click on apply skill improvements,